Yes, people. What's happening? Welcome back to the channel and welcome to another video. First things first, guys, make sure you smash a like and make sure you hit that subscribe button, guys. We are racing along towards 6K. Every new subscriber helps. So please do smash that subscribe button if you haven't done so. And let's dive into today's video, though. And I'm going to be discussing and giving my thoughts on whether Chelsea need to sign another striker this summer. And it's a strange question to pose because I think everyone would have said last season that Chelsea absolutely need to go and buy an out-and-out top draw number 9 this summer because we were 40 goals short last campaign, 38 goals in 38 games, a goal a game. This poor return and nowhere near where we should be. Now, if you look at what we've done over the summer so far, we brought in Nicholas Jackson, a very exciting young player who's hit the ground running, done really well, had a superb pre-season. I thought it was a real handful against Liverpool. Looks like he will get goals. He's going to work hard. He's going to run the channels. He's going to be a nuisance. But can we rely on him to get us 10, 15, 20 goals? That is the big question. Amanda Breyer is also still on the books. We haven't seen him feature at all yet because he's still recovering from that ACL injury that he picked up in December. Do we know how he's going to do? He had a very good first 6 months on loan at Southampton. The second 6 months wasn't great, but you expect inconsistencies with young players. The times that he did play last, he looked a handful. He looked decent. He's got that Diego Costa type of profile, pace, power, and he's a good finisher as well, scoring a couple of goals for us. But we don't really know what he's going to be like when he comes back from his injury. We don't know. He's a bit of an unknown quantity. And then you're looking at it, and those are the only forward options at the club in terms of out-and-out number 9s. Look, Chelsea bought in Dario Fofana. He's gone on loan to Union Berlin for this season, and he started really well, a great pre-season, getting amongst the goals and looking a handful there. Maybe he could be one for the future next season, potentially. You've obviously signing David Washington, the 18-year-old Brazilian from Santos. Again, another one for the future. It's meant to be a top talent from Brazil. We don't know how that's going to turn out for us, and it doesn't address the situation right now. And the way that I'm looking at it is that, we know the striker market is poor this summer. It's sparse. Harry Kane's gone to Bayern Munich. We're never going to get him anyway. Victor Osimhen was never going to come to us either in terms of price and how difficult it is to deal with De Laurentiis over at Napoli. Lautaro Martinez, there were links with him. Again, not sure if it's the right profile. And then the whole Dusan Vlahovic situation, again, where Pochettino's not a fan of him. And I just don't think he's the right fit for Chelsea. Yes, he could do well in the Premier League. And I think he could score goals, but I don't think it's right for what Chelsea are looking to do. And ultimately, I think the jury's still out, and in Pochettino not convinced on him either. And the club have decided that that isn't the way for us to go, which leaves us in a situation where obviously Nicholas Jackson is going off to the African Cup of Nations in January. We've got Nkunku missing until January, really. Where are the goals coming from? That is the big question. But do we stick with our lot, or do we go and sign another striker? For me, if we can sign another striker, we should absolutely go and try and do it. But the state of the market isn't great. There's no real young up and coming strikers that are kind of fit the mold of what Chelsea are trying to do. And if you look down a more experienced option, do you try and go for someone? What does more experience mean to Chelsea at this point in time? Does that mean 25, 26, or does that mean sort of late 20s, early 30s? A name that gets banded about has been Mehdi Taremi at Porto. Good striker, could come in and do a job, but is that the direction that the club want to go down? That is the big question. I think you can look at this two ways. Ideally, you go out there and you try and find someone that can score you 20 plus goals a season, or we're going to have to improve what we've got, improve our chance creation, and get more guys to contribute and chip in. Because let's be real here. Obviously, for a long time now, we've not had anyone that's contributing regular goals to this Chelsea team. And the way that I would go down it, because of how the market's looking, because of what we're looking to build and the need to strengthen in other areas, is that it's a bit of a gamble, but I would stick with what we've got until January, because I look at it and I think, right, okay, we've got Nicholas Jackson, you've got Amanda Breyer to come back, two young and exciting strikers. You've then got obviously your likes of your Sterlings, your Mudriks, your Midwakes, Michael Elise to come in as well. Enzo Fernandez playing a little bit further forward up the pitch as well. Reece James, Ben Chilwell, guys that can chip in with goals. And what I'm thinking here is that Pochettino has got to find a way to get the attacking players contributing more and not just relying on a sole striker for the goals. If we can have a situation where Sterling can chip in with 8 to 10 goals, same with Madueke, same with Mudryk, same with Nicholas Jackson, that's then 40 goals. If they can average 10 between the 10 each, I mean, some might get more, some might get less, but if they can average 10 each, then that is making up our deficit of the 40 goals that we were short last season in the league. And it's a risk, but is that more of a risk trusting and improving what we've got than going in and bringing in another supposed big name striker if we can, with no guarantees that he's going to hit the ground running? How's he going to fit into the system? What sort of player is out there and suitable? These are all the big questions. And I sort of feel mad sitting here saying, oh, I'm not sure if Chelsea should be going to sign another striker this summer because of how desperate we've been for goals and how desperate that centre forward position has needed to be addressed for a number of years now. But I think it's fair that we give Nicholas Jackson a real crack. I think people were unsure on him when he first came in. They're like, oh, well, it was about to join Bournemouth in January. How is he good enough for Chelsea? But actually, I think we're seeing what a good young player this guy is. He reminds me of a skinny Drogba in terms of that he's got pace, he's got power, hold up play is great, link up play is great. He's a nuisance. He runs his socks off. And he is going to be a handful for Premier League defences. Yes, he's still raw. Yes, the finishing could do with a little bit of work. But I think you're working with something there there's a lot to like. There's a lot to improve. And, you know, he should be our focus this season. And then you're looking at, right, can Mudryk improve? Can Mudryk chip in with goals? Can Madueke chip in with goals? Sterling, for me, yes, Mudryk needs to step up. Yes, Madueke needs to step up. Raheem Sterling, for me, is the main one here that needs to step up and start contributing goals. We've seen him score a lot of goals throughout his career at Man City. Yes, I'm fully aware it's a different system, a different setup, playing with different players, going to get a lot more chances and whatnot. But Sterling came to Chelsea, said he wanted to be the main man. He's on the big money. He's the highest paid player at the club. You've got to start chipping in. He needs to be adding at least 10 goals in the league this season minimum. He has to step up. Mudryk needs to do the same. Madueke needs to do the same as well. Like these are minimum expectations as an attacking player, a wide player at Chelsea. You've got to be contributing double figures in goals or assists. It is as simple as that. And we need more goals from these forward players. But the big question is, how are we going to get them? How is Pochettino going to do it? But I think now allowing Enzo Fernandez to operate further forward up the pitch with the signings of Moises Caicedo and Romeo Lavia, he's going to be a lot more influential. Should see him getting on the score sheet a little bit, creating more chances as well, rather than having to be the deepest player in the midfield. So for me, I would take a gamble and stick with our lot until January and then go all in on Ivan Toney. And I've been banging this Ivan Toney drum for a long time, but I would go in for Ivan Toney in January. Get by with what we've got until then. We're playing once a week. Jackson and Broja can rotate. In an emergency worst case scenario, Raheem Sterling could play at false 9 if those players were both to get injured. And we can certainly improve what we've got with the likes of Madueke, Mudryk, etc. Can contribute with a few goals, in my opinion. There's no point just going out there and buying someone for the sake of it if it's not fitting with what the club are trying to do. So I would stick it out until January. Then in January, you go all in and you sign Ivan Toney and you bring him to Stamford Bridge, and that is your guy. That is your centre forward. It's interesting to see how the likes of Datro Fofana is going to develop this season, how Washington is going to develop over the coming years, and we might have a couple of strikers there in the next two years or so that could be really good and important for the Chelsea first team. But that doesn't address the right now, the here and now. And the here and now is Jackson and Broja, who I think, look, it's not what Chelsea fans, and myself included, would have thought, hang on a second, that's not going to be good enough to lead the line for us this season. But actually, having seen Jackson, I think he is good enough. I think he can be good enough. I think he's only going to get better. More chances being created for him. I think that's going to be a massive plus for him. And I think you get Ivan Toney when the chance is available in January. You start putting some groundwork in now. You make that your number one target in January, and you go and do it, and you go and get it done, and then then the score is virtually set, bar a goalkeeper. And I think Ivan Toney's a perfect fit at Chelsea, and you get by until January just playing Premier League and League Cup until the FA Cup starts in 2024. So yeah, for me, I'd stick with it. It's a slight risk, but I back Poch to improve what we've already got and to get those wide guys contributing more goals rather than just going out and plucking an experienced forward or overpaying for someone that's not quite the right fit. So I'd be doing that and then waiting until January and going all in on Ivan Toney. But yeah, guys, let me know your thoughts. Should Chelsea sign another centre forward this summer? If so, who should we realistically go and get? Or do you agree with me? Wait until January, give Jackson and Broja a chance, and then go all in for Ivan Toney. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, guys. But anyway, hope you enjoyed the video. Make sure you smash a like, subscribe to the channel if you're new around here. We're racing towards 6K. Every new subscriber helps. But until then, guys, take care, up the Chelsea, and peace out, people.